Hi, I'm Tim Robel, and welcome to my 2015 King of the Motos motorcycle development and bike build. And we'll kind of just do a quick review of everything that I did to this motorcycle and why, and then I will do some product reviews, kind of going more in depth of why and how it works and how it gets installed type thing. So that being said, let's go ahead and start. With this bike, I've had it for 2 years, so it was already a pretty developed platform, and I was looking for 1 or 2%. I started training for King of the Motos out at the Hammers about 10 weeks prior to the event. First training session I went out with the Geomax MX51 tires on it. Pretty much my Enduro Cross setup, manual clutch, no GPS installed at the time. So with the knobby tire, what it does is it doesn't have a great ability to yaw and mold to the rocks like I like. I call it a knobby tends to upset the motorcycle in the rocks, is what I've found. Now my go-to tire in the past has been the Pirelli MT43. It's a trials-based tire, DOT certified, so you can run it on your dual sport or your dirt bike, whatever you want to do. The downside of that trials tire for me at King of the Motos is it's got a very narrow footprint in the back, and it doesn't allow that tire to reach out and bite stuff. Never had any problem with the uphill climbing ability. It's like when you're coming down a real shelly shelf, there's just not enough tire there to reach out and grab stuff to try to slow you down. I wanted to solve that. What I did is on the 950, I was running the Motos brand, M-O-T-O-Z, Tractionator 140 rear tire. And I've had great luck with that on the 950. I had one in stock, so I said, hey, let's put this on the next, for the next week. So went out and rode, saw where I was, knew what I needed to work on physically, and I said, let's see if we can get more out of the bike. So I put this giant tire on, gnarly rubber, looks like a very manly, cool tire, I get that installed, I go out and test it, and within the first 3 minutes, I'm running 6 PSI in an ultra heavy duty tube. Tire's rear steering all over the place. It won't hold the side hill. It's not biting the rocks like I like. So I said, okay, come home and I'll put my custom grooves on it. I've done a lot of testing with tires. So I grooved it, I psyched it, went out the next weekend with it, and still the same thing. It got maybe 10 or 20% better, but it was still a lot to hold on to ride. Another thing that I was noticing at that point in time, I was noticing severe arm pump around the 2-hour marker on these hardcore trails. It's just like I had to actually take a break, let my arm kind of unpump, and maybe 5-10 minutes, and then get back to it. So I said, okay, I'm going to consider running a Recluse. I'm not really that gadget guy. I come from trials. I'm really good with the clutch. A lot of you have seen me do the circle wheelies and wheelies in the parking lot from an Enduro Cross event. I'm really tied into friction zone on the clutch. This KTM has a great clutch on it. That being said, I went ahead and pulled the trigger on the Recluse. I got that installed, and it worked great on the uphills, and it took a lot less fatigue or a lot less muscle energy to get up something. Where I ran into the problems on my Recluse was on the downhills. That being said, for me, before I ever put one in, I'll put the lightest springs in it possible to get it to engage quicker, and let it build from there. What the Recluse does is it gives you 2 friction zones, and that I'm not super crazy about, but as far as trade-offs, I like it. Downhills, I was running into issues with kind of the motorcycle kind of getting away from me at times, where you have that, you're going down something gnarly and you had to dab a foot, and it would freewheel away. So I installed very lightweight, very slick unit. It's the Recluse left handbrake, and it ties into the master cylinder. Super slick, like how it works out. It didn't add a whole lot of weight, and it added a lot of function to the motorcycle, so that worked out well. Back to tires. I went with the Mountain hybrid next. So the Recluse clutch gets installed for like our 4th trip out, and I put the Mountain hybrid on it with the ultra heavy duty tube, and I go out and I test that, and that tire actually works good. Side hill as well. It did a lot of things, but the carcass is very stiff on it, and if I get below 6 psi, then the tire wants to suck in when you hit something and dent your rim. That brought me to the next thing, which was the Tubeless, the Tubeless. It's a tubeless system that you install on a non-tubeless tire or rim. And basically this kind of works as a rim lock. It pushes out 110 psi, and then you got another chamber on your tire that you can run related psi. On break-in on this Mountain hybrid tire, I ran 0 psi front and rear for probably the first, I'm going to say 30 miles. The carcass was stiff. It finally broke in, and I ended up adding a little psi to it. I ended up with 2. Race day, everything was broken in, everything worked really well at 4 psi. So that tire and the tubeless system worked outstanding. I didn't have any problems with that. Next problem to solve was navigation. I navigate all of our guide trips with the Trailtech Voyager. Outstanding unit. Not only is it a GPS, but it monitors engine temperature, outside temperature, and your pressure altitude, or your altitude where you're at. Super neat unit. But what I've found with that is most people mount that up here on the handlebars. So you're up over the handlebars in an attack position, and you're going down the trail. Now you got to look back at your belly button to try to navigate and find out if you're on course or off course. So what I've done with my guide bike is I've built this guide tower system that basically is a rally light, and it puts the Trailtech like 10 inches forward of the triple clamp and kind of up. Makes it easy to see. I didn't want to do that on this motorcycle. I wanted something simple, easy, and I came up with mounting it right here on the front fender. And you can see it sitting down. I've had a guy that's 5'1", like, oh, I wouldn't be able to see that sitting down. He jumps on the motorcycle, he looks down, he's like, wow, I can see it. I test things between my wife and myself. My wife's 5'1" also, so I already knew that it worked. Neat place to put it. I put their cage on and their remote antenna. Trailtech worked awesome, and I hope to have that up on our new site also. So basically that's kind of it for the motorcycle. I was lucky enough to test with Robert Katz, which is one of the Gatos brothers, and they make a neat product line, primarily the Scott's dampener mount. You buy the unit from Scott's, and it's 2 bolts that go down into the triple clamp, and then 2 bolts that go down and bolt into the Scott's. So you kind of have 2 that here and 2 here. What the Gatos brothers have done is they've engineered a part which I call quad shear, and that's 4 bolts. So the bolts from the triple clamps go straight down, or from the clamps go straight down into the triple clamps, as well as the mounts for the stabilizer mount go down and tie into the, so there's 4 bolts that are going through and holding that together. Although I've never broke one, I could see where it could be a shear plane, and if you dropped your bike down a waterfall or had a good get off, I could see that the clamp separating from the bike. So that's a neat system, and I really like that. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and leave that here. I don't want this to get too long, but if you like this, hit like and subscribe. I got a lot more videos coming. Hope to get back in the flow of doing this and get a little bit better at it. If you enjoyed it, like I said, hit like and subscribe, and thank you for watching. I'm Tim Robel, and I'll catch you here next time.